Paul didn't worship and praise alone. It wasn't just Paul. Remember, it was Paul and Silas. See, there is something to be said about praising God together. Yeah, there is something said about more than one person in the fight. This is why we have corporate praise and worship. There is something about you and all those with you praising God together. Yeah, there is a greater power in your numbers. Now you can win alone. I'm not saying that God can't do it for you by yourself. We've got so many examples of those who won battles by themselves. But the truth of the matter is some things go down easier with a tag team. Yeah. I used to watch that wrestling, and I like the one-on-one, but sometimes it was the tag team that was necessary. And so as I come to a close, I want to remind you about the power that you have in your weapons when we come together and praise together. There's a Aesop fable of the bull and the lion. Yeah, it's called the bull and the lion. And a lion saw some bulls one day in a field. He wanted to eat them, but he knew that he couldn't eat the bulls by just any, he couldn't just easily eat the bulls because they would fight back together. He understood that the bulls, he couldn't overtake all the bulls because if he attacked one bull, all the other bulls would join in and they would fight against the lion and possibly overpower him. So what the bull did, what the lion did to the bulls was he made the bulls angry at each other. And so the bulls stopped being friends. And so as the bulls got into these quarrels and squabbles on the side with each other, the lion began to attack the bulls one by one. And one by one, since they weren't fighting together, he killed all the bulls. What am I trying to tell you? That we are better together than we are apart. And that when the enemy divides the church, when the enemy divides us and puts us into cliques or anything where we are separate, we are not powerful enough to overcome some of our enemies. And so all I want to tell you about your weapon is that you can do it alone, but there is something about a church that praises God together, that lifts their hands on one accord, that praises them in the midnight of their lives together, that breaks chains, causes earthquake, and drives the enemies back. Praise is my weapon. If worship is going to be your life, you've got to understand that we've got to worship God together. All of us coming together with different testimonies, different walks of life, different things God has given. Do you understand the power that can happen in a room when we all begin to worship God together? I remember when I was just a young man singing with the San Jose Community Choir. All of us was just young folk. Many of us had not yet to have many things in our testimony, but we all came from someplace. And all I know is no matter what song we sang, by the time we got to the second chorus of that song, there was a praise erupted in that room that was like none other. Oh, I wish we could go back to those days when we understood that worship is not a spectator sport. We're not here to just look at one another on Sunday. We're not here just to be quiet, sitting down and just watching like we're at a show or we're at a Broadway play. I wish somebody would understand that when you come into the church house, you ought to come in with the praise because of the mighty acts and the many ways that you've seen God come into. And I declare when the psalmist begins to sing their song and you join in, watch what happens to the church, watch what happens to the community. Then we can reach everybody. Remember, all the chains in the prison flew off. Those who knew the songs and those who didn't know the songs. They learned the songs as they go. They benefited from the praise of those who knew how to fight. Praise is a weapon. Praise is my weapon. It is your only weapon in a fight. I dare you. You can pray, definitely. Prayer works in a fight. But when I praise God in a fight, yeah, not only do you have you have your praise going out, but you feel your strength coming when you worship. And so worship is life. Praise is my weapon.